Hello, and thank you for taking the time to get to know me. My name is Trista King, and I'm excited for the opportunity to join the Executive MBA program at the James and Gail Ellis School of Business Leadership. An MBA is something I've thought about pursuing for many years, honestly, ever since I finished my undergrad degree. But throughout each stage of life, it never seemed like the right fit. My career continued to grow, and I embraced opportunities as they came. Looking back, I was very intentional about how I showed up in every role, but I wasn't always intentional about where I ultimately wanted my career to lead. Then, in February of last year, I was laid off after 10 years at Optum. It was unexpected and completely changed the direction I thought my career was taking. At the same time, I was pregnant with my second child, so it was both an uncertain and incredibly transformative period in my life. As difficult as that experience was, it also gave me something I hadn't had in years, the opportunity to pause and reflect. I realized that while I had been very intentional about how I worked, I hadn't been equally intentional about charting the long-term direction of my career. For the first time, I stepped back and I asked myself not just what opportunity was next, but what kind of leader I want to become. For me, that's what unleash your potential means. It means choosing growth with intention. It means taking ownership of my future instead of simply reacting to opportunities as they appear. It's about recognizing that every stage of my career has prepared me for greater impact while continuing to challenge myself to learn, grow, and pursue work that really energizes me. Over the last 16 years, I've built my career helping organizations turn strategy into execution. I've been fortunate to lead large scale transformation initiatives, build operational organizations from the ground up, and serve as a trusted advisor to senior executives. Along the way, I learned that it's not just about solving today's problems. Success is about building systems, teams, and leaders that succeed long after I'm no longer in the room. More importantly, I've learned that people and relationships, not process, are ultimately what determine success. One of the unique qualities I would bring to the executive MBA cohort is that throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to work in customer support, project management, operations, HR, and even fields completely outside of technology, like wild animal care and behavioral health. Those experiences have given me a unique appreciation for how organizations function from many different perspectives. I've realized that what energizes me most is building the structures, teams, and operating models that help organizations become stronger. Whether I have formal authority or not, I've always been drawn to bringing people together, solving complex problems, and helping organizations operate at a higher level. One of the professional accomplishments I'm most proud of was helping build and scale the program management office for a technology organization, supporting more than a dozen SaaS products. When I stepped into that opportunity, there wasn't one established operating model. There were 12. Each product organization had developed its own way of working. Teams were working incredibly hard, but priorities weren't always aligned, visibility was limited, and leaders lacked consistent information to make strategic decisions. I partnered with leaders across engineering, product operations, finance, support, implementation to build governance process, portfolio management, executive dashboards, planning rhythms, and performance metrics that connected the day-to-day execution with organizational strategy. While I'm proud of the systems we've built, what I'm most proud of is the trust we built along the way. Organizational change doesn't happen because someone creates a great dashboard or introduces a new process. It happens because people believe you're listening, understand their challenges, and are working alongside them rather than imposing change on them. The way I achieve that is relying on one of my greatest strengths as a manager, empowering my team and intentionally building a strong team culture. People do their best work when they feel trusted, supported, and connected to a shared purpose. Creating that kind of environment is something I care deeply about. I strive to give people ownership rather than simply assigning tasks. I want my team members to know that I trust their judgment, encourage them to make decisions, and support them as they grow. I also believe that culture isn't something that happens by accident. It's built through consistent communication, transparency, recognition, and genuine investment in people. Some of the accomplishments I'm most proud of aren't projects or operational improvements. They're watching members of my team grow into new responsibilities, gain confidence, and achieve goals they didn't think were possible. One area where I've had to grow is learning to delegate ownership instead of feeling responsible for solving every problem myself. Earlier in my career, I often stepped in because I I wanted to ensure things were done well. Over time, I realized that while that approach produced short-term results, it didn't create opportunities for others to develop. Learning to step back, coach more, and trust others with meaningful ownership has been one of the most valuable leadership lessons in my career. Today, I focus much more on developing people than simply directing work, and I've found that both my teams and our results are stronger because of it. I also learned that while I might have a great solution, my team will bring perspective that I don't have, and they might come up with a better one if I give them the space to do so. That ties directly to another area that's been central to my career, working with diverse teams. My career has taken me from small locally owned businesses to one of the largest Fortune 5 healthcare organizations in the country. I've worked alongside construction workers, software engineers, clinicians, finance leaders, executives, and teammates from around the world. Remaining curious and open to all viewpoints showed me that diversity makes us stronger. In an effort to build that culture at Optum, I led initiatives to send teams to attend the annual Women's Conference and created discussion groups to share and amplify that experience. I also partnered with our people team to deliver diversity, equity, and inclusion training programs and initiatives for our teams at Optum, spanning all levels of the organization to show how diversity makes every organization stronger. Those experiences taught me that the best solutions never come from a single discipline or a single way of thinking. They emerge when people of different experiences, viewpoints, and expertise come together with mutual respect and a willingness to learn from one another. One of the most successful initiatives I've led have been successful. Some of the most successful initiatives I've led have been successful because every team has a voice in building the solution. Often, the most valuable insights come from someone asking a question that no one else thought to ask. Looking ahead 5 years, I see myself serving in an executive leadership role where I'm responsible not only for operational excellence, but also for shaping organizational strategy. I want to lead organizations through growth and transformation, but most of all, I want to build cultures where people can thrive. I want to create high-performing teams with diverse backgrounds that can come together and bring their whole selves to work, building something stronger for both the organization and for the people in it. Whether that's as a COO, chief of staff, or another leadership role, I want to help organizations perform at a higher level because I've invested in both the systems and the people that make success possible. When I think back to where I was a little over a year ago, I realized that being laid off wasn't simply the end of one chapter in my career. It became the beginning of a much more intentional one. Pursuing this executive MBA is one of the most important decisions I've made toward becoming the leader I know I'm capable of being. Beyond the coursework, I'm excited to learn alongside accomplished professionals whose experiences differ from my own. I know I'll contribute meaningful perspectives from my background, and I know I'll leave the program challenged by new ideas, new relationships, and new ways of thinking that will make me a stronger leader. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story, and I hope to contribute to the Ellis Executive MBA community as both a learner and a collaborative leader. Thank you again for considering my application.